Welcome back to our conversation with Congressman Jim McGovern of Worcester. He's the chairman of the Rules Committee. How has that power affected your work and your relationships within Congress?
Yeah, well, it's been a great honor to be named the chairman of the Rules Committee. My old boss, Joe Moakley, was the chairman of the Rules Committee. And, you know, every bill that goes to House floor goes to the Rules Committee, so it's like drinking water from a fire hose some days. We meet more than any other committee, but, you know, anybody who wants an amendment has to come to our committee. So it's enabled me to kind of strengthen relationships with Democrats and Republicans in the Congress. And I believe that building relationships is the way you get things done.
Justin Amash, is that, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Correct.
He's the Republican congressman from Michigan who recently became the first Republican to come out for impeachment. He was talking at a town meeting the other night, I should say. I was watching some clips of it, and he told the crowd that there were a lot of his colleagues, Republican colleagues, who felt the same way he did, but were afraid to say so. Do you find that to be true also?
I do, but here's the problem if you're a Republican. Donald Trump is very popular amongst the Republican base and primary voters, and so a lot of Republicans who feel like Justin Amash does are afraid to kind of stick their neck out because they're afraid they'll be challenged in a primary, even in Republican districts, and lose to somebody who's more pro-Trump. But I give Justin Amash a lot of credit. I admire his courage and his guts. It wasn't an easy thing to do. But, you know, I've been saying for a long time that we need a kind of a Margaret Chase Smith moment, you know, who was the Republican who stood up against Joe McCarthy in the 50s. We need Republicans to kind of, channel her spirit. And I think Justin Amash is the first one to do so, and I hope others follow. He's doing what's right for the country.
One more thing on this whole impeachment business, then I want to talk a little presidential politics with you. You know Speaker Pelosi pretty well. What do you think it might take to get her to change her mind about impeachment?
Well, look, I think, you know, she is presiding over a very diverse caucus. We have, you know, people on the left, and we have people on the right, and everybody in between. So, you know, her job is to build consensus and to also protect the Democratic majority and hopefully, you know, set the stage so that we're done with Trump after the next election. So, I mean, I think she's deeply concerned about this stuff. I think she is appropriately being cautious as how she approaches this, but no one should mistake that for, you know, her being indifferent to this. She's horrified by this president's behavior.
If she were a backbencher, she might be already calling for it, but as Speaker, it's a different...
Right, and she's genuinely horrified by this president's behavior.
Well, there will be an election next year. You're backing Elizabeth Warren. Briefly here, how do you feel about how the Warren campaign is going, and what do you make of Seth Moulton running? Yeah,
well, first of all, I admire all the candidates who are running, including Seth Moulton, who's my colleague, and I wish everybody well. You know, I'm with Elizabeth because she's speaking to issues that are near and dear to my heart, and I admire her courage and her grit, and I think she'd make a great president. You know, but I think you know, we need to not be Donald Trump in this election. We need to focus in on issues that matter in people's lives. I mean, that's what politics is about. It's about helping people, and I think Trump has tried to divert us away from that into, you know, this kind of nonsense world that he, you know, with his Twitter account. You know, Elizabeth, I think, has been focused on how do we expand health care protections, how do we deal with climate change, and so I'm a huge fan.
Well, Congressman, I've got so much else I'd like to talk to you. Our time is up. A lot of interesting things going on in your district with economic development and so forth. Please come back again soon, and let's pick it up where we left off.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congressman Jim McGovern of Worcester. That's my time for this morning. Now, it's back over to my colleagues for more WBZ News.